Emergency press conference, ladies and gentlemen. This is Griffin Murphy from docsports.com coming at you with a free college football selection for Saturday, October 25th, 2025. This matchup is between Texas A&M and LSU. Let's jump right into this breakdown. So, going right after this game, absolute confusion right off the bat. Texas A&M laying 2.5 points, rolling into LSU to play them at home. LSU is coming off a loss in their most recent matchup. I know that because I watched every single second of their most recent matchup against Vanderbilt, where Vanderbilt completely owned them. That was one of my losses last week in college football, and it was a 6-unit best bet. And I believed it was a trap. Vanderbilt was laying 2.5 points in that matchup, which was extremely fishy considering the fact that LSU was 10-0 against them in their last 10 matches straight up and 4-1 in their last 5 against the spread. Favorite in every single one of those matchups. Vanderbilt took it to them. Pavia, I will tell you guys this right now for Vandy. This kid is no joke. I don't care. He's 30 years old. He's like 26, 27, maybe 25 if I'm not mistaken. But this kid is for real. He's the real deal. He is fast. He reminds me of Johnny Manziel when Johnny Manziel was back with Texas A&M. I mean, he's fast, dual-threat quarterback, not exactly gigantic, throws absolute darts, dimes, I must say, as well. And his field vision, that was the biggest take I took out of this entire game. Pavia beat LSU's defense straight up on his own, and he did it all with his field vision. This guy was blown up in the backfield so many different times, found a way to escape the pressure, get out of the pocket, and find an open receiver, and those plays turned into massive gains, which ended up killing LSU in the long term because it happened cycle over cycle over cycle, possession over possession over possession. They could not stop Pavia. It wasn't that offense. Vanderbilt, I will say, that team's the real deal as well. This team is going to be somebody to look out for, and they're under the radar right now. But going at this game right now, Nussmeier, for the quarterback for LSU, he's no good. I've watched this kid now for years on end. People talked about this kid being one of the Heisman candidates and entering the season. I haven't been sold on him all season long. And going into this game against Vandy, I felt very confident with him. So anyways, let's get into this. I think Brian Kelly's an idiot too. I think he's a horrible head coach. I mean, absolutely terrible. I could say tremendous, terrible things about him, but we're not going to bag on him right now because it's interesting here. You've got Texas A&M. They're ranked third in the nation right now, and they're a perfect 7-0 on the season. They're rolling in to LSU to play them in basically a pick-em situation. Texas A&M coming off a win in their most recent matchup, beating Arkansas 45-42. LSU, though, Texas A&M, though. Let's go over the schedule really quick. So they beat Notre Dame as one of their huge games, but that was early on in the season when Notre Dame had not started kicking it into gear yet. They beat Auburn 16-10, very low scoring, strong game. They beat Mississippi State. They beat Florida, and they beat Arkansas. So going into a game like this where we've seen LSU now kind of put poor performances out, they're 5-2. 3 games I've watched out of LSU have not been good whatsoever. And you've got a line here sitting at -2.5, so you're giving LSU 2.5 points, and you have a total sitting at 48.5. So that tells us that defense is going to be a factor in this game. I believe after what I watched on Saturday with this LSU defense, they're there. They're physical. They're disciplined. They're contained. They know how to cover. The thing is they didn't wrap up. Pavia got away. Texas A&M, very different at the quarterback spot, and I believe this is a trap line. We're going to take the points here with LSU plus 2.5, as I believe they give Texas A&M straight up their first loss of the season. I believe, though, we're going to take the points as insurance, but I think this is a very critical trap-based game based on that total and based on that line. Texas A&M, they've had a tough strength of schedule, way tougher than LSU's. This point spread should be more like 3.5, 4.5, and for the reason that it's not, considering also LSU's at home in this matchup, this tells us there's a mismatch on the defensive side, and I believe that mismatch comes in LSU's favor here. So give me the LSU Tigers plus 2.5 in this matchup, ladies and gentlemen, as I believe they get it done. Sprinkle a little bit on the money line as well, as I believe they could win this game and should win this game outright. But also, just so you guys know, if you are a new member to Doc Sports, head on over to docsports.com/free60. There you can go grab yourself a free $60 account. You could use that free $60 on my premium selections. Those are my absolute best bets over at the website. I'm going to talk about how I performed in my most recent matchup on the Gridiron Six-Pack show that we release on Wednesday mid-afternoon. So tap into that because I lost my 8-unit game of the year, and I'm going to talk about that game, break it down, and talk about why that was my selection. 13-6 on the college football season, 10-6 on the NFL season, I want to say 23-12 overall this season when those are combined for $4,000 in profit this season. So we're still rolling. We're picking up from last weekend. We're going to change the momentum and have ourselves a weekend. Guys, get on that free 60 link. If not, no hard feelings. But as always, this is Griffin Murphy from docsports.com. Best of luck to you guys this weekend. And once again, best bets.